another one of the Christmas Advent beer review series. So yeah, I'm getting used to the name now, getting used to it. And this is one of the kind of first of our kind of Christmas beers that we're going to be reviewing during this Advent. There's a few that we're going to actually review as kind of Christmas beers or kind of winter beers, whatever, but ones are kind of being sold as part of the kind of a festive season, so this is what we're going to be doing. So we have a Christmas Porter, and this is from Sainsbury's, the Christmas Porter, and I think last time we did a porter from Aldi, and that was a plum porter, and that was £1.29. This is £1.70, £1.80, so it is, and it's part of the Taste the Difference range. Taste the Difference apparently, so there we go. We'll give you that kind of Taste the Difference Christmas Porter. And yeah, so it's 5.2%, 500ml, and any spiel on it says dark fruit, sweet plum and chocolate. Sounds very familiar to what we were drinking previously. It says this Christmas Porter is made using Challenger, Fuggles and Goldings hops with chocolate malt and rolled oats, and offers flavour of plum, raisin and nutmeg with a buttery afternote. Enjoy with your family and friends during the festive period. The porter is also the perfect drink to leave out for Santa on Christmas Eve with mince pies and carrots for his reindeer. Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. So there we go. So, without further ado, let's get cracked into this bugger. Right. Let's see how this compares, because this is an interesting one, because this is like side by side. So we have one from Aldi that we've reviewed yesterday, and now today we have one from, now that's got more of a fruity smell to it, so it is. It's got this kind of smell of kind of fortified wine and a bit, I'll be honest, a bit like kind of a raspberry slush puppy as well. It's got, yeah, but yeah, I'm not getting so much malts. I've got to admit, with the last plum porter we had from Aldi, the Harper's one, there wasn't very much aromatics. The aromas was really just some very light malts, and that was it. And maybe a slight kind of dried fruit smell, but very, very light, not much aromas at all. This is, oh, it's very kind of fruity, and some of it doesn't even smell natural, so it's very kind of dried fruits. Maybe some allspice kind of smell to it, and really no malts at all. I'm not getting any kind of malts, no molasses, no toffees, no nothing like that, no caramels. So, let's see what it tastes like. Oh, right. It has got a buttery kind of aftertaste, a kind of buttery finish. Which, I'll be totally honest, probably isn't the most pleasant one. Oh dear. It doesn't. It's got quite a bitter aftertaste that goes to a kind of buttery finish. Yes, it does do that, but it's quite a bitter, quite a sour aftertaste. You are getting kind of walnutty. Like, what happens is you maybe get ever so slight malts to start with, and then you're getting all this kind of dried fruit and fruit flavours. Some of them it's like candied fruit in some ways. It's not particularly sweet, but it is that kind of fruity flavours and that kind of dried fruit and kind of candied fruit kind of flavours. And then just as it starts to kind of tail off from the mid-tongue of the kind of fruitiness, you're just getting this kind of, the start of the bitterness gives you a kind of nutmeggy, kind of nutmeg and walnut kind of bitterness, and then it just kind of intensifies to be a kind of a bitterness with a kind of hint of nutmeg, and then it just goes to kind of tails off to a kind of butteriness. It's quite strange. A lot going on. Chocolate. Just getting little hints of chocolate. There's not a real definitive chocolate flavour, just getting little accents of chocolate. So I wouldn't say it's very chocolatey at all, to be totally honest. It's far more fruity and kind of nutmegish. I'll be honest, it's not really my cup of tea. It's okay, it's nice enough, but it's, yeah. I'll be totally honest, comparing it to the Harper's one from Aldi from yesterday, I preferred the Aldi one a lot more, seriously. If you looked at this, would I buy this again? The answer is no, I wouldn't buy it again. Would I buy the Aldi one? Yes, and I will before Christmas buy it again, so there you go. This is about 170, 180, depending on the size of the shop, if you can actually get it in the smaller ones. A lot of the smaller ones aren't really stocking it so much, but the bigger ones, yeah, roughly about kind of 170, 180. It's okay, but no, not my cup of tea. Out of 5, what would I give it? Well, it hasn't really got the normal, some of that kind of nutmegish and fruitiness. It's a bit sickening. Out of 5, what would I give it? Oh, I would give it I'm going to give it a 2. A 2 out of 5. Now, the Aldi one I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I'm giving this a 2 because I just find some of the flavour profiles are just a bit sickening, to be totally honest. I mean, as you can see, it's a nicely brewed beer. But some of the flavour profiles, they just don't really work, to be totally honest. I mean, I'm getting more used to it now, and as my mouth gets more acclimatised to it, so some of the flavours aren't so as intense as they were initially when I started drinking it, but they're still actually quite overbearing, and you're not really getting the kind of character of the beer. You're just getting all this kind of added on flavour that just isn't really natural, and just isn't really pleasant, to be totally honest. It's kind of detracting from the kind of porter flavours, and some of the natural flavours of the porter are nice. I mean, obviously the chocolate of the porter's trying to kind of fight its way through, but it's struggling because some of these other flavour profiles are just far too overpowering and just not really that pleasant. The fruitiness, it just feels kind of very false. I mean, there's nothing. There was a hint of fruit with the plum porter from Harper's, the Aldi one, and it didn't take anything away from the actual flavours of the actual porter and the beer, and it was well balanced. This just seems imbalanced, basically. It's just not balanced at all. There's an imbalance to the kind of flavour profiles that just makes it taste a bit off from my point of view. So yeah, a 2 out of 5. I definitely wouldn't be buying it again. It's not really my cup of tea, but why don't you try it and see what you think for yourselves, and if you have tried it and you're watching these videos, then feel free to kind of leave a comment and let me know what you think. But yeah, 2 out of 5, 5.2, alcohol, 500ml, £1.70, £1.80 a bottle. Yeah, I wouldn't. But yeah, why not give it a go for Christmas and see what it's like? You don't know. And if you don't like it, leave it out for Santa. But anyway, that's us for this evening. Thanks for watching. Cheers and bye for now.